nowadays, right now, everyone's calling me, hey, is everyone slow? Is it slowing down? And I tell them, well, yes, somewhat, but what are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit and wait for the phone to ring? Are you going to pass out 0 people business cards? Or are you going to pass out 100 business cards and hope that you get a 1 or 5% return? If you do nothing, you're going to get nothing in return.
Yep.
If you do something, you'll get some results. You got to start somewhere.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Born to Tint podcast with the Miller Brothers. Today, I'm flying solo. I sit down with Nick Casucci from Solar Gard. He is our rep. We end up talking about some new films that came out, some industry stories, and just catch up. Check it out. Because we already did it. They had a break-in, and we put the exact same film on. Like, it looks different. So Josh goes out there, he looks at it, he's like, it does look different. Meters of glass. It was laminated piece of glass. The coating was on surface, I think 3. When he metered it, but whatever it was, is like they had the glass flipped. It's the same glass, but they had the laminated pieces of the 2 pieces of glass laminated on the opposite side. So they were looking at the glass backwards. Yeah. So we're like, oh, that's a glass thing. So we pulled the tint off. The glass company came out, flipped it, tinted it, matched perfect. Good. But yeah, no, it's the meter definitely is. I mean, I had a guy reach out to us on Instagram and then ended up texting us. He texted you, Jordan? He texted you? Who did he text? The guy from Arizona with the low E coating. He texts you. Yeah, it was just he bought the coating, the low E coating meter from EDTM, and then he was just worried about. He's just now getting. I don't know if he's just now getting it flat, but it's the first time he had the meter and he put it on. They wanted a dark dual reflective, so it's I think it was a massage place. I forget what it was, but like looking at the paperwork, I was like, which way? I got a hold of him today. I was like, where'd you put the meter? He goes on the inside of the glass. And I was like, looking at the meter. I'm like, oh, that's surface too. You're good. Like the dark dual reflective. I was like, I asked him what type of film. I think he was using global. And I was like, as long as it's a true dual reflective, you're good. I was like, I would be 100% comfortable putting, like for me to be Solar Gard, it'd be True View 5. Yeah. I was like, I'd be 100% fine with that. I was like, dude, with that coating, you could get away with murder. Yeah. Like you can put a smoke film on there and it's not going to break the window. Yeah. For the most part, as long as you get it approved by manufacturer.
On another quick note, Julian, that came. So when you told me, because I always try to do the best I can, and I try not to forget about anybody. I leave my text messages. Once I do it, I erase it so I know it's gone and done. So I went back to my deleted messages, and he actually didn't follow up with me. So I sent him a follow-up message after he left here, signed him up for Panorama. Oh, yeah. Last week, he signed the contract the next day, and it's being worked on for him to get an invitation to come to the meeting.
Hell yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. No, that's what Kevin said. That you could, I think it was like half cost to get in the Panorama program because you're halfway through the year. Half the year.
So yeah, I have a couple people, nobody around here, but 3 other people that I'm trying to get on before the end of the sign-up date.
Oh, that was the one, the wild card, what we pulled out at the end of the class, is I grabbed a roll of my Slate 10, because those windows in that bay are like 35 inches tall. So I grabbed one of my 36-inch rolls. I pulled off a couple of patterns. I let him and Elu use Slate 10, and they're both like, holy shit. I'm like, yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's going to be the best film for you. Like, performance-wise is amazing. And then beyond that, I was like, installation-wise, you guys are going to start, if you start installing this, you'll never look back. Like, it's 1,000 times easier. Even Julian was like, dude, this shit's, because like literally you just let it go and drop rolls instantly. So, no, they were very, very much on board with switching, or should I say Julian was. I know Elu's a hard Autobond, so he's going to be Edge and Hooper.
Gotcha. So, and where is that guy from?
Florida.
Oh, okay.
Florida. He's a tint buster.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, the guy who made the tint busters. Okay. He goes by, his handle's Poppy. Yeah, okay. Which I struggle to call him that. I'm like, bro, I'm not calling you Poppy. Sorry. But it's just too easy sometimes,
That made me laugh because Saturday I went to Lenny Kravitz, and there was this girl, she must have been from Colombia or something. Everything was super quiet. She goes, Papacito. It was so funny.
That sounds exactly like that's what, yeah. That's really like, I think the first time I sat down with him at WFCT, and he's like, let's call me Poppy. I'm like, yeah. How do you say your first name? Elu? Okay. Yeah. I'll work my way into it. Now it's a little easier now that we've had more conversations, got to know each other a lot better. They just recently had a little event out here. What unfortunately I had to miss majority of it. I was able to go to a dinner, but they have the Level Up Loop magazine through Audubon. They had the deep sea fishing in Florida, I think about 2 months ago, and then they had an ATV and UTV adventure out in Zion, but the meetup was out here. And when they released the tickets for it, I went online. The tickets they were $200, and that paid for technical room, food, the tour bus or the bus to go out there, drive around for a bit, come back, and then have dinner that night too. So I was like, perfect. Brody's my rep, so it's like, hey, I get to hang out with friends I don't get to see ever. And then also I think Marcus came out, Poppy was out here, Fernando Sainz was out here. There was a handful of guys that I knew really well. That was just like, at least I got to go to dinner with them the first night, but my wife was going out of town to surprise her parents back east. So it's like I had the kid by myself and just bad planning bad planning on my part. Just couldn't find a babysitter, which it's what it is.
Yeah.
But now I got our eyes set on WFCT. Very excited for that. I think we have 13 competitors competing underneath Solar Gard's banner.
Nice.
So,
are you familiar with Matt Castleman? He's out of the Bay Area.
Sounds familiar.
So he's a Lumar dealer, but doesn't like the representation. I don't know what holds him back. A while back he said he signed up for Panorama, but he reached out to them to try to help get involved with the sign up, and I don't know, they're just blowing him off. So he said, hey, you know what? I'd like to go compete for Solar Gard. Is there anything you can do for me? So I told him, I said, well, go ahead and sign up and we'll do something about reimbursing you for the sign up. So he's a good dude. He's all around good dude.
That's what I tell most installers. I was like, if you want to go compete, talk to your manufacturer. I mean, for the most part, your manufacturer should help you out. If you really want to go compete, talk to your reps. If your reps are going to make you jump through hoops, then I don't know. In my eyes, it makes me think like that should make you think about your relationship or your partnership with your manufacturer. In my eyes, at least, we have a couple guys that have done subcontracting work for us that are competing with us. Marcus being one of them. Marcus is competing underneath our banner, so it's going to be me, Josh, Marcus, and Marcus's son, Lyric. We're all going to do the decorative together. We're working on our design right now. The theme is, I think it's between the peaks or something. Pretty much you have to capture the essence of Reno, and then also the fact that it's, beautiful scenery. You got Lake Tahoe right there. So it's the low-hanging fruit in that competition is like a slot machine having Lake Tahoe in the background or something like that. So, we'll see which direction we go. For me, I went to ChatGPT, and I'm still like, I got to answer the questions, but I fed into ChatGPT the parameters, told I'm looking for a design, what kind of competition it was, asked it if it knew the competition. And then I was like, all right, now ask me questions about the installation, products and stuff like that, to where now I'm going to feed that into it, and it's going to spit out some kind of design. We'll see what it does. But, we have our certain parameters we have to hit. But that was one of those things when Marcus was out here tinting for us. It was like we started talking, and I was like, you're doing decorative again, right? And he's like, yeah, because he's won 2 years in a row. And I was like, why not? Let's compete together. Let's join the same team. Like, if I'm going to push flat glass as hard as we push flat glass, why not compete solely just in flat glass competitions? This was like 2 weeks before they even announced that auto would be a $40,000 grand prize, which almost made me change my mind. Almost. But I held my ground. I was like, screw it. Because they moved up the grand prize for both flat and decorative. Flat glass is 20 grand now, and then decorative is 20 grand too. So it's like, let's not be greedy. Let's long-term play. If we're able to come away with the decorative win, and if I'm able to come away with a third and like 3 in a row flat glass, like that does nothing but just bolster the academy. And even if my brother finally, gets to have his dream moment and beat me, even that, I'll be very happy for him. Oh, yeah. And it does nothing but, again, just bolsters the academy and pushes the academy out further.
Funny thing is, 2015, a guy by the name of Bob Turner.
I remember Bob.
Yeah, so he was a window tinter in Reno.
I tried hiring him.
Yeah, he tried. So he entered the contest. He was working for somebody at the time,
yep.
And he's not window tinting anymore.
Really?
He's driving for a pharmaceutical company, and he lives in Reno. He had left and moved to Hawaii for a while, and he came back, but he drives for a pharmaceutical company. And I reached out to him, and I said, hey, Bob, because when he did that competition, he was done before everybody else. And he was just standing around like this. And I go, are you sure you don't want to check it? Moisture, wipe it down, blow water, he goes, dude, I can't do anything. I did all that already. There's nothing left to be done. And I was like thinking to myself, he still had like 10, 15 minutes left. And it looked really good from what I could see. And he ended up winning. And so he after that, he lost his wife to cancer.
Yeah, that was brutal, man.
Yeah, and his 2 daughters, cutest little things. She was just really, really happy for her dad. And I just looked at him. I was like, wow, I was really happy for him. But I did try to reach out to him. I sent him a message. And when he finally got back to me was the day after signups.
Damn.
And, I was going to do whatever I could to help him just to get in,
Yeah, come back and actually technically come back and really defend your title. It's coming back to your hometown again.
Yeah. So don't know if there's anything that could be done there, but I thought it would be really amazing if he was to step back in after being away.
Yeah, no, after he won, when he came, because he came down for SEMA, I think at your guys' party, I approached him and I was like, you ever think about moving to Vegas? I would hire you instantly. Like, it's still, we're still always looking to expand. Like right now, we just brought someone in an auto, 21-year-old, went to an academy in, somewhere in the middle of California. I forget which city it was in, but like I went online and checked the academy out, and I liked the way they laid everything out. It was a 4-day class and how they actually went through things and just got into tinting. And then he moved out here because he wants to, he's pursuing boxing. So it's like he moved out here, there was nobody out here, but the main reason he came here was for training. So got connected to him, and then we just brought him on. So auto-wise, I think I like the fact that we have 3 installers. Brandon's brother is technically my lead tech, and he's been around here since he was 15, and now he's been my lead tech for, I think, the past 3 to 4 years. And Brandon just manages. He does install every once in a while if we get a little overflow. And then we were able to get a guy, his name's Luis. He's off today. But he was working at another tint shop or another shop in town and was just looking for, I think, a fresh start somewhere. And, he's worked out amazingly. Great attitude, clean work, cares about his speed, but at the same time, he's not sacrificing his quality for speed, which was the main thing that we emphasized. So like Otto's doing good. And then for flat, we're technically thin at the moment. We had some guys leave. But the 2 guys I have are extremely solid. And then thankfully, because of the academy, and then also just us going to more events and connecting with more people, networking more, our subcontract network has blown up. Like I have the full confidence if I were to land a job that I needed to get about 50 plus installers on, I could do it very easily. I know which people I would call instantly and be like, all right, I'm gonna line this up for this month, this date. You guys good? And like ready to go. Yeah. So it's been a fun past year, I would say. Obviously always stressful, but good stress.
Yeah.
I don't think the stress ever goes away.
I think networking with the other dealers at the Panorama meetings are invaluable.
Yeah.
They think a lot different than the majority of automotive shops.
Yep.
They're looking and willing to help each other, advise each other, lend installers or give good advice or tell them what they're doing that works and how they would approach it. And I think it's good for each individual company, the industry, the business in general. So there's a lot of good things that come out of meetings.
Oh, absolutely. I think last year I was able to golf with Jared, which I think it's over the years I've just been able to get to know him better and get closer with him. And like I was telling when we were golfing last year, like, dude, you're the guy that I've been not necessarily trying to hunt down, but like I see what you've been doing in this industry since I first started coming to these events. And the first one was San Diego. We golfed at Torrey Pines. I think that was 06, 07, if I'm not mistaken. That is when I first saw him. And then he was already winning awards at that point. And I think he won Deal of the Year a couple times. And, he's extremely humble. And at first, when you don't know him, he comes off a certain way. And I don't think it's not intentional. Now that I've gotten to know him, it's definitely not intentional, but he definitely feels like you feel really, at least I did, I felt intimidated around him. And then I actually got to know him and realized like that just kind of was my own ego getting in the way. And just a super nice guy, and then also wealth of knowledge. And that was the other reason why I try to get as close as possible to him, Steve Clark. It's knowledge. Like I've been in the industry a long time, but I haven't been in the industry at the position I've been for a long time. I've been an installer, and then I slowly worked my way up to being manager kind of. And then now it's like, now I run the company. It's like, those are the guys I gravitate towards now when it comes to those meetings. Is those are the guys I want to talk to, is how they're operating, how they're doing things. And it has been, you can't put a price tag on it. You really can't.
You actually said 06. I believe it was 06 because that's when I started with Solar Gard. It's been a little over 19 years now. Time has gone by really fast. It's unbelievable. I don't understand where the time has gone. But, I want you to know that the same way you look at Jared and Steve Clark, and those guys are, they're beasts.
Oh, monsters.
But there's a lot of people in the industry that actually look at you and Josh and your company that way.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Well, between your videos, your knowledge, all the social media that you put out. And I tend to tell the story a long time ago about when I first got introduced to your dad, and we went out to dinner to a restaurant, and he was giving out business cards to people in the waiting room. And as we were walking, sitting down, and I just, coming from being an ex-window tinter, I was just so amazed at how hungry he was with all the right reasons. And I thought to myself, man, this guy, he's a beast. You know what I mean? And that's how he got busy. That's how he got work. I really come to learn, I tell people out in the field all the time, I tell them, if like nowadays, right now, everyone's calling me, hey, is everyone slow? Is it slowing down? And I tell them, well, yes, somewhat, but what are you going to do about it?
Yep.
Are you going to sit and wait for the phone to ring? Are you going to pass out 0 people business cards? Or are you going to pass out 100 business cards and hope that you get a 1 or 5% return? If you do nothing, you're going to get nothing in return.
Yep.
If you do something, you'll get some results.
Yep.
You've got to start somewhere.
That downtime that's the free time you always wish you had when you were busy, and when there's things that you want to get done. That's the time to be doing it. I mean, we definitely have had, we've had a kind of crazy year. Beginning of the year was kind of standard, and then by the time we got to March, it was an utter, I guess, lack of a better word, a shit show. We turned a record March. I think we almost doubled our March from the previous year. And then summer has been kind of up next. We've been slowly messing with our marketing, trying to figure out, and it's not that marketing wasn't working, it was almost working too well. We were having an overflow of leads to where it's like we weren't able to service the customers the way that we want to. Not actually having a true follow-up, and then getting back to certain customers, that was kind of falling to the wayside a little bit. And it's just I didn't like the fact that it's we're going to spend all this money. Yes, we're getting all the leads, but are we actually servicing them enough to actually get the right amount of value out of them? Or are we letting things just fall to the wayside? So we ended up turning down our marketing a little bit, and we just saw the kind of result of that probably a couple of weeks ago. We saw a slow downturn in our leads and then consultations. And then we've turned it back up to find that kind of happy middle ground, because we ended up finding out that we were losing some of the market share online to Google, that our budget was running up a little too early, upped our budget a little bit. And it's funny, you see instant response. Anyone who's not running Google ads or is not investing in social media, they will be left in the dust. And funny part was Josh the other day, which I ended up trying this. He went on ChatGPT and he kind of asked, I'm looking to get my windows tinted. I want to search with a clean slate, looking at my windows tinted in Las Vegas. What company, what's the best company out there? And and we weren't technically, it didn't name us one, but I think we were in the top 2, but it named Precision, only because I know Precision has got a good handle on the Yelp and stuff, which that's one thing we've never done, because in my eyes, Yelp's pay to play. If you're not paying, they don't care about anyone leaving reviews. They let anything go. And it's just I don't like that at all. So we literally don't put any money. We still get Yelp. We'll still get requests from Yelp and we service them, but we really don't put 0 money into Yelp. But then it put our name, and then it started breaking down the reasonings why. And there's over 2,000 reviews on Google, and then it started going through all this stuff. It's soon enough, asking ChatGPT, that is the new Google. And all that's doing is scraping the internet for what you're putting out there. So if you're putting more content and you're putting more stuff out there, you're going to get more recognized. And it's not eventually I think they'll figure out some kind of ad play that will slowly make itself into ChatGPT. But as of right now, it is scraping the internet to see what it finds. And if you have more stuff, you have more reviews, you have more content out there, you're educating more, it's going to recommend you. And a lot of people are just going to that for the easy thing. I mean, I followed that up with, I think it was on last Thursday. I was just curious, and unfortunately, probably feeding my own ego too. I asked her, clean slate, forget my search history. Who is recognized as the best flat glass installer in the world? I just wanted to see what it said. And at first, it spat out a bunch of stuff about the film manufacturers, and there's no way to quantify it. And I was like, no, because it was like almost just kind of giving me films, and it's like, no, I wasn't as clear as I needed to be with the question. So I reprompted. I was like, technician wise, the person who's actually installing it, who would be recognized through any, I forget how I worded it. I think I ended up bringing like events or whatever. And then lo and behold, it pops up. And again, like I said, feeding my own ego. It popped up. It listed me, listed my brother. And then it listed the reasons why. And then it's, it listed, Ricky Miller's won out of the 8 times he's competed at WFCT, and then listed the reason why WFCT is worldwide recognized competition. I've won 4 out of 8 times I've competed. Every time I've made the finals, I've never lost, and like all these things. And it's just kind of like, this is the new search, and it's just searching the internet for all the stuff that's out there. And then it ended up listing something which I didn't even think it would. Also, the contribution to the industry. And it was like born at Tint Academy. It's like we've ran a class, but we've been talking about it. We've been pushing out content. And now we are launching the classes. The fact that it brought up that and then started laying all that out too. And I was just like, yeah, this is definitely, we've reached a point now where AI is going to start recommending. And the more stuff you put out there, that's how it's going to get pushed out there. It's that. I mean, eventually it's going to get to the point where I think Solar Guard's even doing stuff that I don't think it realizes is going to help it, especially when people searching that way, because then you're going to get people starting to which film manufacturer is the best for that helps the environment and stuff like that. And you guys are going to be top because of all the extra stuff, all the extra steps you guys do for your carbon footprint and everything. So you instantly already have all that stuff on the internet being pushed out there. You've done all the testing to where now that's what's going to be searched, and people are going to use ChatGPT. I mean, the first class that we ran, I'm not saying it wrote my class, but I started asking it questions. Hey, I'm running a 3-day academy. I'm going to make the first day about sales, and I'm going to introduce, and then I kind of broke down how I wanted to outline it. Feed me 10 questions to help me refine it. And I went through like about an hour of working through prompts. And then by the time I was done, I had my entire itinerary written out, and it's like I didn't know how it was going to work until we actually ran the class. And then when we ran the class, like time-wise and everything, I was like, we're going to make some tweaks, but shit, that's perfect. Yeah. Like it ended up working out perfect. And then I had a good range of students the first time around too, from someone like Julian, which is kind of like the prototypical person that in these first run of classes are all I'm looking for. Someone who has already done auto, who is either in flat and is already trying to grow their flat, or already install-wise. I probably showed him a couple things, but did I need to show him anything? Probably not. Like he was already like very efficient, very clean installer. Like I could see it when he was installing. I was like, yeah, he's pretty much good. But I would say just like me, I'm always looking for a way to improve. So, and he had that same mentality. That's why I absolutely, he's another person when it comes to say subcontract work. And he goes, dude, I'm 5 hours away. I'll hop in my van and I'll drive down. You just let me know. So I was like, done. Now I know if I have a huge project, I can hit him up. Him and his brother will come out, and I know it's someone I can trust, especially after seeing him install too. Like I can just literally hand film over to Donovan, Scott's kid. Same thing. Yeah. He was just out here. I had him out for a week. I had a guy take a 1-week vacation. I hit him up about 6 weeks ago. I said, hey man, are you available through these dates? He's like, I can give you these 7 days this week. And I was like, perfect. It was 2 days shy of what I was asking him, but it ended up working out perfectly. And if anything, I was a little scared just because we were booked and I knew we'd book the jobs, but it's it'd be nice to know when he's coming out, I already have his week booked. Yeah. I had the first 2 days booked, but we had a bunch of consultations laid up. So I was like, I'm going to put my faith into my brother. But I know he's going to get the job done. And then we were able to get it done. We got him, I think ended up doing 1,900 square feet within the 7 days, which it was worked out perfect. If I didn't have him, that would have been pushed into the next week, and that would have technically cost me money because now that next week I can't get the more work done because now my installers are already all tripped up. But then you got from Julian to Kevin, which yes, Kevin's been through the safety film training, but he's a person where it's he said he was going to try, he wanted to tint some windows at his place, which he definitely I know he could pull off. But I know after this class, if anything, it helped him understand the other side of the coin, to which that is going to help him with his job in the long run with trying to better the program, better the films, and get an insight of the installer side of it. Yeah. But I know he's not picking up an OFA. Like he's not taking it any further. There's no need for it. What he's doing. I want him to keep focused on what he's doing because I love what he's doing. And then we had a guy that was a commercial graphics installer, and he just had walked in, like he had saw the sign out front, the Born and Tint Academy, and like he just walked in one day and we ended up just having a conversation. And he's like, I'm looking to get into it, and I was like, well, how about this? How about I train you, and then we'll come up with an agreement that I get to use you so many days a year as a subcontractor. If I can't provide the work, it's not on you, it's on me. But like if I give you enough notice and I have big jobs, I can use you as a local subcontractor. He's like, dude, done. And it's like, so I had someone who knew nothing all the way up to someone who was Julian. So it's like I kind of got to test out all the different stuff to see what was going to work and not work. Yeah. So, and now we got to try to which my big thing is I have until, when's the Panorama meeting?
Let me see.
September 20th?
I believe so.
23rd.
And remember, I got that coming up. SEMA.
Oh yeah.
SEMA is the first week in November. We got September 8th through the 12th for Reno, and I think Panorama.
I think it's like 2 weeks after. I think I get like a week and a half break, and then I'm heading back down to Arizona. So, but it's oh damn, what was I saying? Lost my train of thought. That hasn't happened in some time. But no, with Kevin coming here, I really enjoyed having Kevin come because I was able to pick his brain. And one thing I didn't realize too, while talking to him, which I can't wait to have this conversation with Miguel at the Panorama meeting, is the fact that I didn't ever really put two and two together of low E coatings failing.
Low E coating what?
Failing. Eventually, coatings are going to fail. We say that in everything, even with our films. Certain ceramic films that ceramic coating can fail. It takes time. It takes like I've seen, I think at the earliest maybe 8 or 10 years, but I mean it's getting beat up by the sun. But he sat down on the podcast, and I've yet to call Miguel to ask him about it, but it makes sense and checks out. If you have a triple silver low E coating on a window, say the window's been in your house for 15 years, do you really think that coating's still doing its job as good as it was? I mean, the roof is the prime example of that. When we first got that account, we didn't have a meter. We weren't metering, but that was the only film that they were allowed on the building was Highlight 70. And we felt the instant difference on the building. Like we felt it. So it's like, we knew we weren't selling something that wasn't doing its job, but technically we metered those windows. They're Surface 2 triple silver, but the building's old. Yeah. So the coatings failed. I mean, in doing that house, doing his condo, it was literally the proof. It was the first time the entire year. And I think we tried doing it. We pitched it to them like 2 years ago, and it's just she tried AC units, covers, shades, everything. House still sitting at 78 degrees, So it's put the film on. Now it's at 71. Can't beat that.
That's a really good story.
Yeah. Oh, and we're gonna have to beep out what building I just said. I just realized that. Yeah, I know. I'm done.
And I didn't even realize we're recording.
Oh yeah, we've been going.
Okay.
We've been going. But yeah, no, it's that opened my eyes to the fact that even if you are going to throw a meter on a window, now asking the question to the customer, how old's your house? How old are your windows? Because maybe you can put highlight on your house now because say your windows are 15 years old and that coating is failing. Like it's not gonna produce like it was when it was brand new. Nothing's going to. Everything fails eventually. Yeah. So,
one thing in regards to what some of the stuff we were talking about on the other side of the wall, asking people, do you actually have a warranty from the manufacturer for your windows? I think would start becoming a question that we may want to start asking people to help everyone's situation.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I've always heard that, but it's never been asked of me before. So it's just we submit a claim gets pushed through. So, I mean, I get it. Like you have guidelines for a reason. There's warranty paperwork for a reason. I get it, but is what it is. Follow the guidelines as much as you possibly can. And that's another one of those things. Like that's the one thing that we want to push out in this class. We have a good amount of people that submitted that are interested in the class. And we sent an email out, and then I realized we can't rely on an email going out saying class is open for it to actually sell the class. We need to call these people. They need to know what they're actually getting into. Like I have a full form now for someone to fill out to let them know like, hey, this class is too advanced for you. Or, I mean, if anything, maybe letting them know like, hey, you already pretty much know everything I'm probably going to be talking about. Are you sure you want to do this? Because I don't want someone to come here and be like, well, I know all this shit already. Eventually probably do even more advanced sales class down the line. But the first class will be for day one will be sales. And knowing what you're working on, the surfaces you're working on, the window, how to open up your playbook to what windows you're going to actually, or what films you can offer to those windows. Because if you have a triple silver low E, you can get away with highlight 25. You have to get their approval, but you can get away with it. I mean, we had a huge project that they wanted a non-reflective film on. And at first we were like, yeah, we can't do that. And then, which I know I told my brother before, but he acts like he just probably doesn't remember. But like I ran across a customer once that wanted highlight 25. I called Miguel and he goes, what window is it? And I said, triple silver low E. He goes, just meter a bunch of the windows, submit the glass check sheet, and I'll approve it. He goes, that will totally work. And it was like the same thing my brother didn't know that. I was like, I didn't know you could do that. I'm like, yeah, you can. It's a really expensive dark film. But if someone is set in their ways of like, hey, I want to achieve better heat rejection, I need to get it darker, I want zero reflection, it's the only option you have. So especially for it to be safe, I would say. Or you go exterior, but there really isn't a dark exterior yet, which I can't wait for whenever that day comes. I know it's brewing. So that was my first question I asked. I think I asked Kevin. He's like, I know 75's coming. When's 25 coming? And he's like, we're working on it. I'm like, all right.
I think it's great what you guys are doing for the industry, because training, education is key, because, I believe window tinters, they just kind of know what they know from their shop and their box, and they don't have a way or a resource to go to, but possibly, a rep or their manufacturer. And, I run into simple things on a daily basis. For instance, like how to read a spec sheet. One guy last week that's been in the industry for about 12 years goes, what's this mean? 1/4 plus 1/4. And so, when I went to explain to him that, your 1/4 inch, your 1/8 inch, and your double pane, which is 1/4 plus 1/4, and, total solar energy rejected, teaser, TSER, is another word for heat rejection. He's like, well, I always wondered why it didn't say heat rejection. So there's a lot of things out there that I think that are very basic that could be taught and educated in a class. Like when you said your first day is going to be sales, and maybe, half the day could be education on materials. That stuff like that's key.
That was pretty much the first day. And we ended up touching like prepping a little bit by the end of the day, but knowing how I want to dial it in and the certain people I want to go after. Like we had one guy that we were going to run a class in August, and just, I wouldn't say unforeseen circumstances, but I think we were trying to be a little over ambitious. And my fear is that I'm going to have people pay money for it, and then I'm not going to deliver, and I'm not going to be prepared. That's what scares me. And it's just with all the other things that kind of we have going on, we end up technically scrapping the August class. We're just going to go straight September. It gives people time to also book rooms and actually get the travel to where the travel's not going to kill them to get here. So the first class will be in September. But it's putting that questionnaire out there. It's like, how many years have you been in the industry? The divide between the two, how much auto or how much flat have you done? Have you never touched flat before? And the first guy that actually filled out that questionnaire, like I read it, I'm like, this is like literally the type of dealer that I'm trying to sell to right now. You are the exact avatar that I know this guy will get the most out of what we're offering. He's about 10% in residential. He is, he wants to grow it, but he's scared to get into that water because of glass. I mean, which it should be a technically slightly frightening thing now. Back when I was an installer, when I was like 14, 15, most glass was clear insulated. You can really get away with a lot on clear insulated glass, especially if you stay with dual reflective films. Slate in general, that's where I've come to realize that's why my dad was a heavy slate guy. He didn't buy anything else because slate, you really don't have to ask, is it okay? Slate's pretty much good on everything dual pane. You get the triple pane, you start getting into some muddy waters, and those windows are ungodly amount of money. So it's kind of like you really want to know what you're doing with those windows. But most dual pane windows will all take slate with no problem. So I realized like that's why my dad only has offered slate. And then he would go with the lighter stainless steels and safety film, because those films are green lit across the board. We don't have to ask for permission. We don't have to wonder if this is okay or not. And I think that's the other reason why my dad never went with the Glass Check Pro. never worried about it. And then I think it was Kevin we were talking to that, and my brother said it in a way. Actually, I think it was during the first day of the class. I first was looking at the Glass Check Elite as a way of making sure I don't break windows. You shouldn't look at it that way. You should look at it, this is the way to sell value to your customers, is to educate your customer and let them know what the film's actually going to do for you. Because now we're going against bids that people are putting up ceramic films and especially selective films on windows. And it's like we meter the window and we're like, well, we do have those films. We're not going to sell it to you though, because you're telling me you have a heat problem. Putting this film on this window, yes, it's going to help a little. It's not going to do much past that, and you're wasting your money. And I'm not going to sell you something that's not going to do anything, because that just hurts the industry. So I always thought of it as using it to make sure we don't break glass. And you should use it to where you can actually open up your toolbox of all the different films that are offered to actually solve the problem for the customer. And then you get to show them like, well, this is the type of window you have. Like, so you can pretty much take these films, throw them to the side. And these are my expensive films. These are the films I'd love to sell you. I want to sell you highlight on every single damn job. But with where glass is now, there's no point. The window's doing all the work. If he has a triple silver low E coating, highlight 70's out the window. Like, it's pointless to put on there. Now finding out that coating does degrade over time, now that kind of opens up to you have an older home. Yes, you might have double silver or triple silver. Your home's 15 years old. All right, let's do a sample window. Let's put one up and make sure that we're actually achieving some heat rejection. And then now I can sell you the clear film. Or you go to QXN 75 and say, absolutely, I can just throw on the outside of the window and we have our problem solved instantly. We're still waiting on a project right now that they were gung-ho about it, and now it's kind of, as it petered off, but now it's hitting, I think, the corporate circle, the corporate roundabout, where they know they need to do something, but they have to show it to the head guys to see if they're going to sign off on it, to where it's like, we presented the project, we presented the film to them. I think they asked us about Prestige, and we let them know, like, yeah, we can get it, but you have 0 glass warranty with this, which still boggles my mind. Is absolutely mind-blowing to me that they don't put any kind of protection on, to where it's like, nah, we're going to lay all liability at your feet. And it's like, cool. Is this film safe to put on? Oh, yeah, it's safe. Okay. So, but then I got to take all the risk. Like, that rubs me the wrong way. And I very much do not like that. But now I know I have a film that does outperform it in every aspect of every aspect. I mean, that's even when it comes to interior. When we were going to do, when we bid that building on the Strip, he was like, what are your 2 best films? And I had Prestige 70 and I had Highlight 70. And he's like, what would you put in your house? I'm like, Highlight. And I was like, if you actually truly look at the spec sheets and look at them for what they are and actually look at the raw data, Highlight's better. It's a reflecting film. It's not an absorbing film. And I could go through the rundown of the things, and he just grabbed the Highlight one. And he's like, all right, that's what we're going with. I was like, cool. Works for me.
Yeah, I'm really glad we came out with that product. It's been a long time coming. We're not usually first out of the gate to come up with products like that. What we'll do is we'll get the manufacturers, the competition, and we have scientists and chemists that break it down and study it, and we come out with a product that we feel would be superior to the market. So we've launched it, and congratulations to you guys for buying the first 2 rolls in the country. So we thank you for that.
Were we the first ones to buy?
You were.
All right. Now I just got to get a product. Get on. We have a couple. I think we have 1 or 2 bids out on some smaller projects that, like, I can't wait to put it on. I'm hoping eventually that might become the product that I assume they're doing testing on right now when it comes to turf. So that would be nice. But because it's always good to have the film that when you're able to offer that for turf protection, it's like beyond the fact that it's going to protect your turf, the heat rejection on this is going to be amazing.
Yeah, I've actually, because of a window film that helps prevent burning turf, has been a huge question and a long ongoing challenge. I've actually spoke with technical services, Miguel Dietrich, and he's telling me that it's probably not a good idea. It'll help enhance the reflection. So, yeah.
So another new product. That's fine. Yeah. I hope it eventually, because I know a lot of the manufacturers. They all have something. I know SX80 is kind of the go-to for Solar Gard, but to me, it's always hard to pitch something to a customer. Which, I mean, in the most part, even too, when we sell the Edge film, the Pristine 70 film, it's still like it has $1,000 turf burn guarantee. I think we've yet to actually, I mean, we enforce it, but it's like if something is costs a little bit more than $1,000, we just take care of it. Like I still want to, if it's, within the realm of reason, and it's like, all right, let's just take care of it for this customer and just go from there, is what it is. That's the scary thing, because I know there's a lot of companies out there that are selling either like a Madigo product or a Johnson, and it's like I'm using Johnson for turf burn, but there's zero guarantee on it. But I will say the people that do not do that are taking the liability of just, if it burns, it burns. And then they pay for it out of their pocket, which it's like something I was never, like I at least want to get something back. Like I'm trying to at least mitigate some of the liability when it comes to putting a film on there, but it is what it is. Yeah. I know it's a problem that I know eventually every manufacturer is going to have something that's going to be there, because the problem's not going away anytime soon. It's not going to go away. And film windows are just going to get better and better at reflecting heat, and you're going to have to find something that's going to mitigate that. Or the side paneling. I know on the East Coast, they have huge side paneling problems where it's melting side panelings on other parts of the house. Or I've seen some crazy stuff where people are parking their cars and it's melting the bumper of their vehicle.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's crazy.
I think I remember hearing years ago that there was a story that the umbrellas on the strip were getting melted from some of the buildings.
Vidar. So they ended up putting, I think Madigo ended up winning that bid. And I think it was actually Madigo that ended up getting it. I forget who they subbed it out to, but they ended up putting a automotive film on the exterior, which I know it gets replaced constantly. There's no way it's lasting in the sun. I mean, that's the other thing I love about Solar Gard, how it's now been taking its steps now that we're having a 10-year warranty on exterior, and they're really investing into the exterior lines, because that's where the market's going. And I used to hate installing outside, but now it's like I realize it's actually a lot easier to install outside. Like my guys like it because I can set them up at a 5 a.m. appointment, and they work for their 8 hours, and then by 2 o'clock they're done for the day, unless they want more work and they book them more. But I also set kind of a limit on that too, just because it starts getting to a point you're not trying to burn your guys out. They'll do some 12-hour days, and then it's like, all right, like you might even tell me you want more work this day. I'm not giving it to you. Go home and rest. Like there's got to be some kind of quality of life. Like I understand grind when you're young, keep grinding. I mean, in my eyes, just don't ever stop grinding, but you can burn yourself out. I've done it a couple times, and it's no fun, because then everything kind of goes downhill, and you feel like crap for a bit, and then you recharge your batteries and then get back after it again. Yeah. But,
Yeah, the exterior films, back when we first started launching exterior films, I just thought to myself, I guess you're a creature of habit. You always install on the inside, and, the outside weatherable films came out, and I didn't realize the demand of people calling and asking questions, the interest, the want, the need, and it's really come a long ways. We actually are getting ready to officially launch our new 8mm clear exterior security film. So it is available on the shelf.
I say I got 2 of them.
Yep, you guys.
Yeah, I got 2 of them. Yeah.
Yep, bought some of that already. So that's huge for us, because we've always had the 4mm clear exterior film for the exterior to be warrantable. But it's doing well. There's a couple large projects. There's a large project that came about in the Pacific Northwest with Jared. And purchased a large amount of it, and he did really well with it. And another exterior product that we came out with is the new windshield protection film.
Yep.
It's got a 1-year warranty, very, very easy to install, very user-friendly. And I know there are a lot of other products out there that are really challenging to install, that require heat shrinking, and they're just really, really time-consuming. Our product has really surprised a lot of people. It's really optically clear, no heat shrinking necessary, and you could probably do a whole windshield from start to finish in roughly 15 minutes or so.
I think that's why I timed myself. I did my wife's car. Where my only mistake is when I opened the roll, I didn't put it back on the roll tight enough. So when I went to go use it, I tunneled it like in 2 or 3 spots, and I was just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, well, this is actually a great test vehicle for me to see, like, should I really worry about if it tunnels, do I need to scrap this piece? And just for advice, yes, make sure your roll's tight. Do not let it tunnel. If it tunnels, it is not going to go away. It pretty much went away. I can see a little bit. It's like on the passenger middle of my wife's Highlander, But like I put it on right before we drove to Disneyland. I think it was about like a month and a half ago. And it was like at that time I tinted the windshield. I think I put highlight on there. Cause I ended up putting highlight on my truck. I just wanted to see how it was. I think on her car I tried, and I think I ended up screwing it up install wise. And I was like, oh, screw this shit. And I just went and grabbed some Zenith, and I was like, I'm just putting Zenith on. I don't care. And I just put some Zenith on, but then I put that on the outside of it. And I mean, yeah, beyond my mistake of not tightening my roll and causing it to tunnel, I mean, it looks great.
Yeah.
We installed super easy.
Speaking of tunneling, there's a lot of guys out there that don't know what that means.
No,
So that's another thing during, your training and teaching, what have you, about teaching people how to, wind up their film tightly and teach them what tunneling is, maybe showing them example. And with the windshield protection film, 8 mil clear, interior, exterior, anything thick, graffiti film, anything with the liner, that film can tunnel. So it's really important that after you use the film, cut your piece off to wind it up tight, tape it up nice and good, because it will tunnel, it will ruin the film, and the manufacturers won't reimburse you for that. So it's a step and a precaution you definitely need to take in order to preserve the film.
Yeah, no, I don't think we originally, when we first started getting in heavier into safety films, probably like 2011, 2012-ish, we didn't really take care of our film too. I mean, we took care of it, but at the same time, wasn't really paying attention to that. I don't really remember having too much tunneling issues with your guys' film. Your guys' film, like, you really have to mistreat it to tunnel it. There are other manufacturers that should not be, I won't name them. Everyone will know who I'm talking about. That, if you do not tighten it at all, the roll's pretty much screwed, like instantly screwed. As soon as you toss it around a little bit, done for. Yeah. And well, I will say too, though, when it comes to your guys' flat glass film, if it does tunnel, as long as it's installed within a reasonable time, I've seen the tunneling disappear. As long as you really soak your window and you have a decent amount of slip in there and work it through, I've seen it go away. Now that I know that windshield film, that was like the first sample I got sent. I think it sat on my shelf for like 2 months. And like, it made sense why it didn't go away. I was like, well, we'll get to test it out now and see what it does if I leave it like this, because I had a piece big enough for the windshield. I was like, I'll give it a test. But yeah, no, not tightening the rolls. That wasn't something until we brought on that brand that we realized, like, oh shit, we need to really start tightening our rolls tight, because we never experienced it with your guys' product. I will say I probably do experience a little bit more now. And that's probably because we scaled our safety film so much more. We weren't installing that much safety film to begin with. And then right around when Trump got elected, that's when safety film got crazy the first time around. Like around 2015, 2016. Like that was probably one of our best selling products with safety film. Everybody was like, the world's going to end. You got a safety film windows. And I was like, cool, let's go for it. I mean, and it hasn't slowed down since. Even during COVID. COVID was a definitely heavy safety film thing. So that was the one thing that we could, I guess, skirt you can't to be an essential business. We were considered essential because we were providing security. So we were able to, and even beyond that, we could have been putting on solar films because they still allowed home improvement projects, which Tint fell underneath that banner. So we were one of the lucky companies that, at least in Nevada, we were able to keep our doors open and operate as long as we took the certain precautions, made sure our customer felt safe. And at the time, for us to begin with too, we were on the edge too of like, we didn't know should we be doing this? Should we not be doing this? And after the first couple of weeks, we're like, yeah, no, we're going full bore. Let's just go. Like, and it was actually kind of nice because customers would just drop their cars off, because it was like we closed our waiting room and they were cool with just walking in. I want that color, tossing keys, and let me know when it's done. It's perfect. And then even like houses too, it's like, all right, so we're gonna take off and just let us know when you're done with the house. So we got the house to ourselves, able to go in, do our thing, let them know when it's done. And that was the simplest part, I'd say, of that time, was actually doing that work. And then also the government printing as much money as possible allowed everyone to pay for it. So it made us really, really busy. I think the only problems we had at that time was getting material. And I think everyone experienced that. I remember when you guys would get Triumph blades in, I'd buy like 20 packs. It's like, I felt bad because it's like we had the capital to make moves like that. We were at that point in our company to do that. And I was like, God, we're part of the problem. We're part of the reason why everyone's running out of stuff, is because every time something comes into stock, we're buying the living hell as much as we can because I have to have it. Otherwise, I'm not able to service my customers. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Security film has definitely came a long ways. you know, a lot of guys through time, you know, it never ceases to amaze me how guys don't want to buy a film handler and they're doing security film because they don't want to spend the $1,200 or the $1,100 plus an additional $200 for shims because they could just cut it themselves. You know, they have no idea the the help that a film handler gives one to do security film. It's amazing. And, you know, you, like they say, you could lead a horse to water, you can't make them drink it. They want to save money. And I explained to them, you know, your first job is going to pay for that film handler and you have it for the rest of life. It will pay for itself. And you know, your film will lay down perfect. You're not going to get all the little creases and little, you know, corners that don't lay down. Your work will look amazing. You can't cut it out of the box and try to expect to fold it and bend it and cut it without it looking terrible.
It's pride and ego. We've had an installer that fought against it forever. No longer works here anymore. And still will every once in a while make a comment on one of our videos. Oh, I'd have that job cut already. And so it's like, dude, you've been doing it for 20 plus years. Even, you know, shit, I think he's actually almost been doing it for close to 30 years. Yeah, you should be able to. I should be able to. My brother should be able to. But it took decades to be able to cut out of a box that well and be within an inch and not waste film. I wasted, I can't tell you how many square feet of accidentally, when I'm cutting it, actually swooping in and then shorting my corner. And now I got to cut a whole nother piece. Like, so when it comes to actual scaling and then teaching someone how to use that tool, like, cause it is a tool. Yeah, to begin with, you're going to be slow with it. And now I would be willing to bet that I can cut a job just as fast, if not faster than someone cutting out of a box. And I'm going to use less material. I'm going to have a factory edge on every single side. And and because of that, I'll be able to install faster too. Like it's just one of those things when you don't use a tool, the glass check is the same thing. You don't use that tool. You don't think it's needed. Well, the films I use are safe. I don't need to use anything. I can put a dual reflective on anything, but it's like, you just got to get used to using that tool. And then also it's a way to put more value into your sale to not just the solely, oh, I'm going to charge my customer more. No, you're providing a higher end service. That's what allows you to charge a higher end price. You know, it's like now instead of my guy cutting up an entire job on someone's floor, they're walking in with rolls already cut and they're setting them in the rooms, already marked with labels of what film it is, the size of the window and everything. So when they walk in, they're setting up their pads or setting rolls in front of every person's window instead of you lugging in all the boxes. And then sometimes a lot of people that hand cut, they'll go remeasure all their windows again just to double check or verify because a lot of times they're not the one measuring the windows. So they don't have the protocols in to make sure that whoever's doing the sales, like, hey, it matters these measurements because we want to cut everything beforehand because that's going to shave time off too. And even if it only takes you an hour to cut, by the time you're an hour cutting your patterns, I've already been installing for an hour. Like I already got to the shop a little bit earlier. I cut the whole job or I cut the job beforehand. Like we're lucky enough now to where we have a flat glass manager where he's installing today. So he'll install every once in a while, but he coordinates all my jobs. He calls my customers. He schedules the jobs. He cuts the jobs for my guys. The guys come in, the jobs are already cut sitting in boxes. They grab the cut patterns. They grab an extra roll or two just in case because you never want to expect that you're just going to nail it. Because every time you do, that's usually when you screw up and you need that roll with you. So it's the time saved on it. And then also the savings in material. It's like you can't cut within a half inch on all your patterns an entire year. If you're doing 80 to 100,000 square feet in a year, an extra half inch on every single one of those patterns is thousands of dollars. Thousands. So it's like that pay raise you're talking about. Well, because you didn't want to cut out of a cough of a film handler, like we could have saved all that extra money and then we'd be that much further into profit because of less material we have to use. That would allow me to say, oh, you know what? You used the film handler the entire year. You saved me this much money. We installed this much and we only bought this much and we only had like, say, a slippage of like 5%. Like that makes a difference.
Yeah. I loved how when I walked into the academy here, that you have the film handler mounted to the wall.
Yep.
And I also loved how on a previous video, I saw you doing a video on how to pull gaskets and putting them back in. And I think that is one thing that is huge. I teach people 15 years, 10 years, 20 years in that have never seen a gasket pulled, have no idea they could do it. So the combination of knowing if a window the gasket can be pulled, cutting the security film out with a film handler to the quickness of installation, the perfectionist of it coming out is amazing, because most of the guys that are automotive tinters trying to convert into doing a security film job, it becomes a nightmare for them. They don't want to do them. Yep. They go through hell. But taking the steps of pulling the gaskets, cutting with the film handler, having it pre-cut, not having to take a ladder film handler into a home or a job site, taking it out, it makes life so easy and everything turns out to perfection. So those things are, I think, really huge of what you've been providing the industry and helping the industry, because it takes it to another level, and it's a lot of help.
Oh yeah, no, we used to be one of those dealers. That's what I said. When people, like you're saying, like yes, I like to hope that we're making some kind of impact in the industry. That's like one of the things, like I'm trying to give back to the industry as much as I can, because it's provided everything for my family. It's provided everything for my parents to provide for me. And then now everything that I'm able to provide for my family. And then how I can, make sure that we're providing everything for our employees to provide for them. Like, we trying to support as many people as possible. So I'm trying to give back to the industry as much as possible. So don't let your ego get in the way of trying something new just because you're scared to use it, or it's just because of how you've been operating. I've operated this way for years. It works out just fine. It's like, yeah, we did too. And then we finally started getting out of our comfort zone. Like I used to cut rubbers I all the time on those. I used to think it was faster. And then we finally actually got the proper tools to yank them, to put them back in, to get the rolling pin, to put it back in. Like, I don't care how fast you think it is to cut your rubbers. Sure, you might beat me by a little bit, but I guarantee my windows are going to look 1,000 times cleaner, and I'm not going to have a gap either. So when the customers say, hey, what's this all about? They're not going to see that bullshit on my window. They're going to see no gap at all, which makes a gigantic difference. So it's try to do as much as we possibly. The film handler too. It's like being able to cut safety film, especially when it's pull gasket, to the exact size. It's we'll cut, we'll make it, we'll always leave like one edge to cut, just like the bottom, just so we don't have to try to nail every pattern. But it's like just to drop in 3 sides, tack, cut the bottom, squeegee out, throw your rubbers back in. Until you do it, then when you finally do it, you realize like, oh, this is a lot different. And this is a lot easier. You don't have to worry about trying to cut the corner out of it, trying to get it tuck in perfectly, especially with 8 mils, finicky in the fact that if you don't cut it absolutely perfect and it still is a little long when you're pushing it in, you might be as gentle as you want to be. You're still putting a little crease in the window.
Yeah. I would love to see you guys go ahead and find that guy that can do it faster and better and do it out of the box. Have a 2-window scenario with you with the film handler next to it, or someone else with a film handler next to it, and see the before and after results of letting him cut the rubbers, installing it, you right next to him, pulling the rubbers, cutting it with the film handler, putting it in to see before and after. Because that word that you just said right now, is what they will say after they realize how hard they've been making it on themselves.
It's like I said, we had that guy here, and he's still, to this day, still toots the horn about how it's waste of time. It's like, sure. I mean, if that's how you want to do it, do it. It doesn't bug me at all. It irks me only a little bit, because then what someone sees when they walk into a business, and it's like, I'm not going to tint my windows. Look at this shit. And it's like, just turns someone off from film. I mean, it's the same thing when it comes to even technically installing slate on a window that's got a surface 3 coating. You can do it, but you're just making the house hotter. So now you just turn the customer against film. And all they're going to do, one bad customer will hurt the industry a lot more, because they're going to be like, yeah, I paid thousands of dollars to get my house tinted. It made my house hotter. Don't waste your time with that. And like, you think about how much they might influence their entire circle around them, to where you could have had customers, if you would have metered your window and realized like, I got to go exterior to actually make an impact on this customer, go to exterior. And then all of a sudden they're like, my house is staying the temperature it's supposed to be. Like, my energy bill went down. That was the funny thing. We had another person from that Works acquisition that we did his house. And from last July to this July, he showed my brother his AC, because he had the digital performance. It cut his bill almost in half.
Wow. And
he's like, the only thing that's changed is like, I've kept everything the same. The only thing that's changed is you guys tinted my house. My brother had him take a screenshot of it and send it to my brother. We posted it online. We did like a little testimonial thing. And it's just like, with the proper film on your windows, how much you can actually save yourself, and it be a more efficient option. And then also the ROI on it is a lot quicker than replacing your AC unit, or trying to replace your windows, or buying some shutters or some blinds, which those 2 things aren't going to really do much anyway. Or if you go the screen route, yes, you can go screen route, and screens will work, but it's like, now you got to take your screens down. You got to clean them. They got to drill into your house, and now they're damaging your home. And when you sell your house, you might sell your house to someone who absolutely hates screens, because it's like a 50-50 split. Some people love the way screens look, which by all means, to each his own. Everyone has their different taste in things. And then you got people that absolutely detest screens that are like, I want those off the house. And fix the holes that you put in the house, which you're never going to get to match again, because you fill it in and then you got to repaint. The only way to make that match is you got to repaint everything. Sure. And it's, that's the two sides of that blade. So
those screens, you mean those black things that absorb a lot of heat and eventually warm up the window, and then that heat transfers into the building?
Well, I had one guy tell a customer that he has a screen that holds out 93% of the heat. And the customer showed me the screen. And it was pretty much just like a straight sheet. Like you couldn't see through the shit at all. And he's like, you want to put that on the outside of her windows? She's like, why would I put that on my windows? I can't see out of it. And it wasn't black, it was gray. So it was a better color. So less absorption, but still, it's like you're looking at it and it's like something like you'll be able to see out of it, but it's going to completely destroy whatever view you have of your backyard or looking out of your home. And it's going to make you feel like you're in a dungeon almost. Even if you go with a dark film like slate, yes, it does take a lot of the visible light away, but it still just makes it seem like you maybe live in like a sunny day in Seattle, And again, it just depends on the customer. Like if it was up to my wife, our entire house would be slate tint. And I was like, no, that's not happening. Like I like my natural light. So I put stainless steel 35 on because I put safety film on at the time. But it ended up costing me more because she ended up getting her shutters. So. Is what she won, I won. Is what it is. And I think I put stainless steel 50 on my sliders because I wanted to actually have light come into my home. But then she got her curtains. So that again, it's like I probably could have got away with going with the darker film. Probably would have saved me a little bit. But oh well, is what it is. Yeah. But for Solar Gard though, how's the year been for Solar Gard? Been a good year?
It has. We've been up against some challenges with this crazy world that we live in today. And, we're trying our best to serve the customers and provide them with inventory, training, and a lot of great things daily. We have long-time standing employees that have been with the company for a long time, listening to the customers' needs, trying to provide all the things that we can to help get them through the tough and challenging times. Window film is it's not a necessity. It's a luxury to put window film on your home and on your car. So it's definitely challenging. So we hope that things will get better in time, and I like to give my dealers a lot of encouragement. We had a brief discussion earlier about, what are you doing about it when it's slow? And, I had a kind of a neat little story. It kind of made me smile when I read it. So, dealers call me as a rep. They're asking me all the time, hey, is it slow? Are the other shops, busy? What's going on? And I'm getting several of those phone calls and I'm asking them, what are you doing? What are you doing about it? That downtime that you always wished for, now you got it. Do you want to do nothing about it, or do you want to do something about it? Do you want to starve, or do you want to generate some people coming into your shop, some phone calls, some interest? And I had a girl, husband and wife company out of San Jose, call me up and say, hey, Nick, it's really, really slow. We don't know what to do. And I said, well, and I think I've shared this before. Some people out there may have heard me say this because I preach it all the time and it seems to be working. I tell them, go to Dollar Tree, buy 50 cups, get $55 Starbucks gift cards and go hand them out to used car dealerships, new car dealerships, window covering companies, dermatologist offices.
Oh, that's a good one.
If you give somebody a $5 Starbucks gift card, they'll never forget you.
Yeah.
They will never forget you. And you know what? When they do need your service, they'll call you. So if you get one person come back, okay, and you do their car for $250, $450, they're home for $1,200. You paid for all those cups, and guess what time it is? It's time to go buy 50 more cups. So don't sit around and do nothing because you'll get zero results. If you do something about it, it used to be back in the day where, the phone would ring, you had the yellow pages and what have you. And it was a different time. We weren't going through the world crises like we are now. Money is challenging to get. Things are more expensive. Interest rate on cars and houses are crazy. Gas is higher than it's ever been. So everything has gone up in price. So it's been really, really challenging for a a product that's an unnecessary product, it's a want. It's not a need.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's a want. You might need it, but it's still a want. It's a luxury. So I'm telling people, do something about it. If you have to close your shop, answer the phones, go out, market yourself for a couple of days, spend a whole week doing it, close down your facility if you don't have the means to keep it open, and go market yourself. And so this girl texts me a picture. She goes, "Hey, Nick, you know what? I took your advice." She goes, "I went on to Amazon and I bought 35-cent air fresheners. And I believe what she did, she stapled them to her business card and went and handed them out."
Smart.
And she bought them by the bulk.
Yep.
So you think about it, 35 cents times 100 air fresheners, what does that cost you? You go hand them out to 100 people. If you get one person come back, what have you done?
Oh.
You've marketed your company. You've gotten some, maybe possibly made 100 more friends in the future. Even if you get a 1% return on that, 5% return on that, 10% return on that, you've made an effort to make your phone ring.
Yep.
And after if you don't get busy, go hand out another 100. What'd it cost you?
Yep.
$35.
Yeah. And well, $35. I mean, if you told me if I had to invest $35 to land one customer, I know I'm charging them, say, $500 or plus for a car, or even like land a house, I would pour as much money on that fire as I possibly could. Like, knowing what your customer acquisition cost. And that was the one thing that we've been really dialing in these past couple of years. We ended up hiring a business mentor and actually diving into our numbers, what it's actually costing us per customer, to where it's like, even if I had to say give someone a $50 gift card and I knew what the return rate was on that, like, I would pour as much money on it as I possibly can if I know I'm getting a return on it. Like, with Google AdWords, with Google, and like with Meta, like Meta for branding, so our brand awareness, to where we're flooding your feed with us constantly, to where when that thought does pop into your mind, then you do leak over to Google and you type our name in, we pop up at the top, and then instantly we go there. Like, if you told me if I had to spend $100 to make 1,000, I'm going to spend, and it's never going to stop. Here, take my money. Yeah. Take my money. Every single time, take my money. It's, even if you have to go do door hangers, like, yeah, don't expect like a 30-40% close rate on those. But if you order some door hangers, like we order from Got Prints, and it's like the cost of those things it's like dirt cheap. Like, that's one of the things that I think we finally almost have them ordered, that we are going to start doing whenever our guys go out and do a house, is, hey, after you're done, go canvas the neighborhood. Go wherever door you can that says that doesn't say no soliciting. If it says no soliciting, leave it the hell alone. But go hang some door hangers. Hey, we were just at your neighbor's home, improving. I forget which wording we used. I think we put security, solar, and turf, to where it's like, hey, we were just servicing one of your customers. We're in the neighborhood. If you're looking to get any kind of service done, scan the QR code and let us know. To where if they canvass the neighborhood, if I get 3 or 4 customers out of that, like, my guys are already there. They just did a house. It's one of their neighbors that just got it done. Say they do know that person. Now they have someone to reference and talk to. Like, and now I just turned what the cost was for that one person, and I'm spreading it all over the place. Like, and it's just like, it made sense on my dad. We were real heavy on hitting parking lots with cards, like, especially during the winter. He'd drop us off. We'd canvass multiple huge parking lots and stuff. And the street sweepers hated us. We had one guy actually come by and dump the entire load in front of our store. He did not like us. I think he cleaned the Best Buy parking lot down the street. And also, we came to the store one morning and we had our gift card stuff all over the front of our parking lot. We're like, son of a bitch. But, it is what it is. But like those, it sucks being out handing out cards or putting door hangers up, but it has a purpose. Cold calling, like, it has a purpose. Yes, success rate is going to be low, but when they hit, it hits, and it doesn't cost that much to do it. And especially if you don't have anything going on, that's what you should be doing. Either you are trying to bolster your social media to get your presence out there, or if simple, just ordering cards and going and passing them around, giving them to other local businesses, going to hit the other businesses that make sense to partner with, going to talk to landscaping companies. Hey, you guys have a problem with turf? Going to glass companies. Hey, do you guys have a tint shop that provides services for you guys, or do you guys get asked about tint? We'll give you a referral fee. Like, we have a couple different companies that we have referral fees for, to where it's like, if you land me the customer, I'm going to give you a percentage of the job. Like, I was already going to pay for it anyway. Like, if the money's not going to go to Google or Meta, I'm going to, that's already built into my price. I'm going to spend money to get this customer no matter what. If I give it to Google or Meta, or if I just give it to you, I don't care either way. If I land the customer, thank you. Here's your reward for landing me, help me land this customer. There's always something that can be done. Just sitting around doing nothing is what will be the end of you. It might not be the funnest thing to go canvas a neighborhood, but you will land a couple jobs. And say you land the right person in the neighborhood who's friends with half the people in the neighborhood. Now that one job that you landed turns into 2, that turns into 4, that turns into 8. Oh, yeah. And it just never stops. We're in multiple neighborhoods where, like at the beginning of the pandemic, we did security film in Southern Highlands. We were at one house. And at that time, that neighborhood was getting crushed. It was a gated community, and they were getting hit from the golf course. People were coming from California, hitting the house, disappearing. And there are multiple robberies. We were in that neighborhood for like a month because we went from one house, and each one of the installs was like 1,000 to 1,200 square feet, attaching almost everything because it was all gigantic sliding glass doors. So we'd go from one house, and all of a sudden the neighbor would come back, "Can I get a card?" Give a card. My dad would go give an estimate. We end up at their house next. We got their house for the next couple of days, and then we were just booked out for a month. We did not leave that neighborhood. We just ping-ponged through that entire neighborhood, tinting everything. And then we eventually ran into someone who was on the HOA board that was just like, "Here, you guys have a stack of cards?" "Yeah, we do. Here you go." Yeah. And then that's who we recommended. And we ended up getting a bunch of homes that way.
You said you had mentioned door hangers. That's a great thing you could do. Another thing is, after you finish a job, a yard sign. And having a van parked in front of the home while you're doing it. We tint houses. The funny thing is that your neighbors are usually pretty nosy. So if you have a van parked in front of their house while you're tinting it that says "we tint houses," guess what? And the husband comes to them, "Hey, did you know that people across the street got their house tinted?" Then you put a yard sign out there with the phone number. Guess who's going to probably be calling you the next day? And the other thing is too, what a lot of people don't realize that have automotive shops is, you mentioned a little while ago, acquisition. Okay. So how much does it cost to get a lead? How much do you have to pay, or what do you have to do to get a lead? Well, think about this. Every car that comes into your shop, knows window tint. They like window tint. They're paying for window tint. They're getting window tint, but they don't know you could put it on your home. That job absolutely probably cost you nothing to get. Okay. And if you're not telling them that you can tint your houses, you give free estimates, you could give them a quick quote, okay? You're robbing yourself. Yep. Because those are leads coming to you every single day, and they're acquirable jobs, but your front person at the counter doesn't care, isn't educated, you don't know about it, you've never thought of it. Yep. There's so many things that you can do to acquire jobs with people coming into your automotive tint shop, because people always say, "Oh, I don't get that many flat glass jobs." Well, you're right. Probably because you never talk about it, you never sell it, you never advertise it, you don't tell people it's available on your home. Security film that goes on your phone is usually clear. People don't know about it because you can't see it. So it's your job to inform and instruct and teach and educate your potential customers that come in to get your car done, that there's a potential there for you to build your flat glass business.
Oh, absolutely. That was the main reason why we started the podcast, was literally to start making content, pushing the fact that you can tint your house. And the huge flood of people that we got, they were like, "I didn't know I could do this until your guys' clip came across. I didn't call no one else because you guys," like, they'd already seen so many of our clips. They're like, "I only want you guys to do it because I didn't know you can do it." And then what they had learned from us talking about it, because, we tried very intentionally the first, say, 10, 12 episodes to really talk about certain key points of what can be done, what things you got to watch out for, making sure you're metering the windows. Because yes, the one thing everyone gets scared about is, "Well, my builder told me the windows can break." Yeah, that's a possibility. That's why you want to make sure you're using the right film and using the right manufacturer too, to make sure, and using the right company to make sure they're going to be there if that does happen, so it gets taken care of. Just to make sure, because this past year we've broken, past year and a half, we've had more glass breakage in the past year and a half than we ever had. Majority of it is the exterior, and a lot of it's the turf. And unfortunately, I've come to realize it's all new builds. Glass isn't the same. They're not putting, I'd say builders aren't putting the best glass in anymore. Or if it's how it's being handled, they're just throwing houses together. You get a surface chip on the edge of the glass. You put any product on that, it doesn't matter what product it is, it's going to break the window. Yeah. But knowing that, hey, we inform everyone to begin with that there's a possibility. And if it does happen, very easy steps. We get our glass guy to come out, he replaces it, we come out, we retint the window. Doesn't cost you anything. But you have to make sure your customer understands that. But also just let them know, be upfront. Yeah, your warranty is void, but that's why I use Solar Gard products. That's why I use Panorama products. is the warranty they put behind it. And then you get to explain to them who Solar Gard is and then who's Solar Gard backed by. Oh, St. Gobain. Oh yeah, they make a third of the world's glass. So they're not going to be putting something out there that they don't trust is going to go on a glass. It's not going to break it. Like, they don't want to pay a warranty claim. They do, but they don't want to. So they make sure their product is within the standards, and they make sure they give us the right education to put the correct product on your window to solve your problem. Because I mean, that's the biggest thing is like, I mean, like I said, day one of that class is us pretty much like, then we started off with like, all right, this is the Glass Check Pro. If you aren't going to buy one of these, you're wasting your time. Like, what we're doing here right now is you're wasting your time. You have to buy one of these because this is what's going to allow you to sell the correct film, to actually do what you're saying it's going to do, to where you actually create a customer who's going to go brag about this to their friends, who is going to have that big of an impact where most likely that customer might turn into another customer. And you're going to give them an experience where they're going to talk positively about our industry. And actually, you're actually going to solve the problem for them too. You're having an extremely happy customer. It's going to leave you a review, and that's going to allow you to grow. If you do not buy this meter, you're wasting your time. Like, glass is not what it used to be 20 years ago. You have to have this thing to move forward. Like, that's almost one thing. Like, I'm telling you, like I told them right off the bat, if you're not going to buy this, don't get into flat glass. Don't waste your time. Yeah. Like, don't try to get by with like, well, if I buy this product's gonna, I can put it on everything, it'll be safe. It's like, yeah, but is it going to solve the problem that the customer's asking for? Because as soon as you put that meter on the window and you ask the appropriate questions, what problem are you trying to solve? After they answer that, ask another question with wherever they answer with, and use about 3 to 4 different questions you can ask them. After you meet the window and you ask those questions, they've already picked their product, or at least it's dialed it down to where, like, all right, I'm going with slate. It's going to be 30 or 10. I'm going to give you the pros and cons of both. 10, it's going to take a lot of light out of your room. It's going to be your best heat rejector. So if heat is your main concern, you don't care about light, that's the product. If you are concerned about the light a little bit, you still want good heat rejection, slate 30. Jump to the 30. It's going to provide you a noticeable difference in heat rejection, but it's not going to rob you completely of all your light. To where, that's the other thing, I heard it at a Panorama meeting. I don't remember which one it was, but treating every single year windows as a constantly on free light. I think that was the year that Ecolux dropped. So it was in Orlando. And I forget the speaker that was talking. But like, when he said that, I was like, shit, that makes so much sense. Like, people want to always throw the darkest on. It's like, yeah, I can give you heat rejection everywhere, but at the same time, now you're flipping your lights on. Like, now it doesn't really necessarily matter because most of the time lights don't suck up that much energy anymore. They used to, so it's not really that much of a big concern anymore. But still, a lot of people like natural light coming in their home. They won't have to flip their lights on constantly. So we still kind of lead forward with that. And then also being completely honest with your customer, like, these windows are north facing. Are you worried about them matching? No? There's no reason to do them. I would love to tint them. I'd love to tint them. But if you're not getting direct sunlight, this film ain't gonna do nothing for you, but it just costs you money. Now, we do have a product that can. We can put some Ecolux on there, and that'll take care of the ambient heat. But that's a different scenario. So that's one way of being able to sell Ecolux is, you're worried about ambient heat? I do have a product for it. It's expensive, but like, what problem are you trying to solve? And that's the biggest thing, is asking the question to find out what the problem is, to present the customer with the right product to actually solve their problem, and not create another person who's going to doubt what we do. Like I said, that testimonial that we got over the weekend, like, that stuff is what makes me happy. When I see stuff like that, like seeing who did it, I was like, it was even cooler. It's like, wow, that's awesome. But like, just anytime someone comes to us and is like, my house is substantially cooler, thank you so much. I mean, one of the salons that we did, that window that broke, she has in each one of her rooms, she can actually look and monitor each one of her salon suites of how the temperature is gauged in those rooms. And like, as soon as we put the product on, she seen a substantial difference. In one of the rooms too, the girl wanted even darker. So we ended up putting, I think, TrueView 5 on the inside. And then we ended up putting the exterior 20 on the outside. And like, in that room, you could just see how the AC and the energy was spiking and then just nose dove into the ground. And she was like, it's for being able to provide that instant gratification to the customer, and they can see it in the numbers. Like, the energy bill's down. We're saving tons of money. Thank you. Like, at some point, it's going to cross that barrier where now it's paid for, and now you're just putting more money back in my pocket now. That's the thing that I love the most when I'm installing, when I get to install in front of 2 windows that aren't tinted, tint one and go, stand here, put your arms out. And it's like, You don't have to see numbers. You could just feel it on your arms, and you're like, holy hell! Like
Comfort.
the comfort. Like when I was tinting that condo, it was the same thing. The girl that was there with me, that let me in, like she like walked out into one of the main areas. She's like, I can already feel a huge difference. I'm like, all right, cool.
Money
Like,
well spent.
yeah, it makes me. It's like I know instantly. Like, all right, I'm not a snake oil salesman. Like I know what I'm selling, and the product is doing what it's supposed to do. It's making a huge improvement in this home. Like nothing makes me more happier than that when I'm actually able to solve the problem, and provide what we're actually telling them to do. Telling what we do. So
well, you're buying the right tools, the meters, the film handler. You're educating your customers. You're providing them with great marketing that have all the specs and details that a person would ask for. You put all those things together, and you do a quality installation. You have happy customers.
Yep. So, I mean, word of mouth too. I mean, that's still one of our biggest returns is still referrals. Our return customers and referrals, I think last time we checked was 60% of our business still.
Mm-hmm. Referrals are huge. I mean, I'll give you an example. I was at an automotive shop about 3 weeks ago in California. And I had walked in and just popped in on one of my guys, and guy drove up with a Tesla, and he goes, "Hey man, do you guys use that one brand that everybody asks for?" And he goes, "No, man, we use Solar Gard, St. Gobain." He goes, "All right, see you later. Thank you." He goes, "Hey, wait a second though." And I go, "You know what? Let me talk to him real quick." So I walked outside to him, and I go, "Hey sir, you know what? You see this right here?" And I was wearing one of my branded Solar Gard St. Gobain shirts, and I go, "See this right here? Take a look at that." And I said, "It seems to be that, you really care about your Tesla. You want a really good product on it, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." I go, "Come here, check this out." And I took him to his door, and I had him look at the bug stamp.
Those
and sure
older
enough,
ones, yeah.
it said St. Gobain. And I said, "This is what product he uses here. Now, if this glass is good enough to be in this car, don't you think his window film would be good enough to be on this car?" And how many of the shops out there are doing Teslas nowadays? They're everywhere, right?
The only downfall is though Elon started making his own glass, asshole.
So
that was one of my favorite things to point out, especially with Solar Guard, was see that. And that was, I mean, that's why they make I think what St. Gobain makes like a third of the world's auto glass. So when those vehicles do come through and I see the St. Gobain tag on the window, it's like, gotcha. Like I can easily push it. I mean, auto has changed so much in my eyes to where dealers need to stop. I mean, yes, you need to know what manufacturer you're carrying to know that your manufacturer has your back. You have a good partner. It's when I have a customer come in and I tell them what product we use, and then I'll be 100% honest with them. I'm like, to be 100% honest, as long as you're getting the high end product from any of the main 5 to 6 manufacturers, you really can't go wrong. Now the real question is who's installing your film. That's the real question. Because I can line up a bunch of hybrid ceramics against each other, and then I can try to use some fancy words to try to make you feel like this one's better than that one. And yeah, I could probably show you this one's better by a couple % here or there, or that one's better by a couple % here and there. Or are you going to feel that percentage? Now it's who's installing your film. That's the big one. And yeah, I'll point out the big one. The biggest thing to me to point out, the very easy thing is I just educate them on who owns Solar Gard. I educate them on St. Gobain. The company's been around for 360 years. And they make 3M seem small. And then people are like, "Oh, I didn't know." It's like, well, it's not really, let's say, a main brand for us. But you actually start explaining to them what they have their hands on, how they actually run their company and the products they put out. And it's like, all right, I got you there. And now it's like, beyond that, who's installing your film? Is that company still going to be there? You don't know. Especially, at least that's what we can do in our market here, because tint shops, pop up a dime a dozen. They're here for the summer, and then they eventually peter out because either they're not pricing correctly, or they start pricing till they race to the bottom to where it's like, I'm slow, I'm just going to discount. It's like, I get it. You need to make money. You need to be able to provide for yourself. But at what point does that stop? Like you're you're whoring yourself out, and it just doesn't make any sense. But no, that was always still is one of my favorite things when I can spot a bug stamp that says St. Gobain on it. I'm like, all right. So yeah, see this glass here? You know who made this glass? Yeah, they make this film.
Yeah.
So
so speaking of that, so you mentioned about word of mouth. So that same guy, my customer called me and told me, "Hey, you know what? He belongs to a group where all the Tesla guys get together and they meet up all the time." And he goes, "I did 4 more cars because you walked outside that day and told that customer that." He goes, "Man, I just want to tell you thank you." He goes, "I really appreciate it." He goes, "It was kind of neat the way it all folded out."
Yeah.
And so, it's good to hear, some positivity sometimes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, especially, I mean, Tesla. I think Tesla Y was our most popular car last year. We tinted an obscene amount of Tesla Ys. And I think the year before it was a 3. So like Tesla's been at the top the entire time. We have Highlander's one of our high ones, but it's only because we have an account that had an obscene amount of Highlanders that we were doing. Just all they have is hybrid Highlanders. So it's just like it was, easy for that to be the top. But otherwise, it's Model Y. As soon as he switched his glass and started putting Tesla emblems on, I'm like, you son of a bitch. Getting rid of my sales tactic, but okay, whatever, it is what it is. I still love Tesla and the fact that because everything's glass, I high five Elon for that. Thank you for making cars possible to be $1,600 for a damn tint job. Yeah. Then you couple that with a clear bra and it's like, oh, that's a $3,600 car, $3,800 car now. Never thought we'd get cars like that. Yeah. I've always said if I had to start a business from scratch again, I'd only do flat glass. But it's so hard to, I still stick to that. Just because I don't say the headaches of auto, but there can be more problematic things in auto, dealing with electronics in all the cars, and they're a lot more temperamental. But now when you have cars like Teslas and other vehicles that have the panorama sunroofs and the clear bras, and the fact that just cars in general are just way more expensive now, so people are willing to invest way heavier into their vehicle that they'll do an entire clear bra. Like we have a Acura coming in on Thursday. It's a $3,700 ticket. 15 years ago, if you told me we were going to charge $3,700 on a car, I would have said you're high. I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah. What are we doing to the car? Are we painting it? Like, please. Doing a full front end and a full tint job on the vehicle. $3,700. Yeah. It's crazy.
I've always been an advocate of, you can't get $37 for a paint protection job on a car if you don't ask for it. If you only ask $2,000, nobody's going to say, hey, Ricky, great job. Here's a $1,700 tip. So, there's a lot of people out there that are scared to ask for it, or they look at the car and they think, oh, they won't spend it. Well, you know what? You'll never know unless you ask for it. If you want to get $595 for a tint job, ask for it.
Yep.
And there's a lot of guys that I find that charge, maybe I see on their prices or I hear them talking when I'm sitting in a shop that charge $250 for regular film and $350 for ceramic film. Well, people really generally don't see the value in an extra $100. So they think, no, I'll just go with the $250. Now, if you were at $650 and $250, people say, wow, $650, man, that stuff must be some good stuff. Then they actually see value in it. Yeah. So for those that are skeptical and say, well, I charge $250 and $350, and at $350, nobody spends $350, so I'll never get $650.
No.
Wrong mentality. Well, so definitely won't work.
And beyond that too, like the one thing that we didn't do really ever up until the last couple of years, actually dive into your numbers. And then actually you guys start looking at it. That's the one thing I've come to realize now. Business is business. What do you pay? What are you charging for your marketing? What are you charging for your sales? If you're doing everything, you think that, well, I can charge that $250, but you'll never be able to scale. You'll never be out of the thumb of you're doing everything, because as soon as you start bringing people on and you have to hire people from positions, if you have an inside salesperson, if you have an outside salesperson, now you're paying for marketing. And you end up getting an installer. Like, you're never going to be profitable unless you're actually pricing yourself correctly. Like, I think a lot of us, or a lot of companies right now, are in a spot where we never rose our prices. We never made them higher. Like, we were that company up until about two years ago, when we finally were like, we raised them, and then we ended up talking with our business mentor, and he's like, we need to raise them more. He goes, your problem is your offer is off right now. You need to raise it more.
I noticed the same thing during COVID. COVID made everybody very, very busy. They were getting free money, and I feel that people were splurging with that money that they didn't earn and didn't respect. And so they decided to spend it on window tint. Yep. And tires and wheels and car stereos and all that stuff you really didn't need. So the shops got so busy, it had the adverse effect. They got so busy and they started raising their prices because people wanted to be squeezed in, or they charged them more, and they did squeeze them in and charge an extra $200. So that gave them confidence. Hey, you know what? I'm getting $450 instead of $250, and they're going to pay for it. So it really helped the industry.
No, it did.
And, I just hope that, people continue to see value in what they do, and not be at a race to zero, because, everybody will continue to profit from it, and feed their families and do a good job. And they'll feel better about the work the efforts that they put into the vehicles they're working on, the homes they work on, because they're getting compensated fair, instead of, doing a job for $99 and then subtract the cost of the materials, of labor, the gas to get there, and then be left with hardly nothing and not feeling good about it, going home frustrated and not doing your best work.
Yep.
Why would you not rather do that same car for $450 and feel good about it and put your heart into it and do a good thing for the industry?
Oh yeah. And then it also it's one of those things where you're not going to win over every customer. Be okay with that. There is an avatar for every type of, no matter what, there's going to be the $99 customer out there. That's why my window's dark. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I just don't care. Just make my windows dark. You're charging how much? Yeah, I'm out of here. Have a nice day, sir. There are plenty of people out there that as long as you are aiming towards the right person, the right avatar, to where they value their time. They want to get in now. They want it done now, but also they want quality. And they're completely okay with the fact of, hey, this is going to cost a lot more because I want it done now and I want it done high end. I think it's one of those things where if you can pick three things, quality, time, and quality, time, and then value, how much you're charging. You can have two of those. You can't have all three. If you want quality and you want it to be fast, it's going to be expensive. The price is going to go up. You want it cheap and you want it fast, quality is going to be in the gutter. There isn't such thing as having all three of them at the same time. And don't try to win all your customers. Know which customers you're going after. Say if I have 100 customers and I'm charging them $200. All right, I move it up to $400. Now out of those 100 people, only 50 say yes. I just made the same amount of money and I did it with half the customers. So now you're not crushing yourself trying to get to that number, get to that figure, and you're actually valuing your time and making your customer value time. My wife just went through this. She stopped doing hair for about 2 years and she was never really charging a price point because she felt bad raising her prices. Or after the 2 years, she ended up working for a salon where she went into it, working here and there and a couple of days a week while my son was at school. And it's it was a commission split. So she didn't have rent no more, but she was a split in commission. But the price points were a lot higher. At that time, she finally had gotten to the point where she felt more comfortable in what she was doing. She built herself back up and now her pricing's twice as high as it was. And I told her people will wait for you because she had customers that came back. She had 25 or 26 customers come back after a 2-year hiatus of not working. That when she sent out the text hey, I'm getting back in. I'm doing hair again. If you're interested, if you already found someone, I completely understand. But I just want to let you know, these are all the people that were asking, hey, when are you going to come back? And good 20 some odd people came back. And I was I told you that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen because I know what service you're providing. People went off, they experienced the service somewhere else where that girl didn't get back to them. They canceled on them constantly. They didn't respect their time. People will pay more not to have to deal with that nonsense because you're providing an extra high-end service. There are people that will spend more that I'm one of them. When I get things from my house, I don't only want to pay for it once. I'm not going to pay. I don't want to try to save a little bit of money and then all of a sudden 2-3 years later, I got to buy it again. No, I understand it's going to cost me a lot of money to do this or that to my house. I'm fine with that. As long as I know it's coming with the customer service I'm expecting and it's the quality work that I want. I understand that costs money because we do the same thing here. I can't expect to try to get something cheap on a good deal and then it lasts forever and be high quality when I'm literally preaching the exact opposite. I understand it's going to cost money. There are plenty of people that are out there that are just like me that will spend. I will spend what technically would be on the higher end of the market as long as you take care of the job in a good, efficient, quality time manner and it's high end work. Is what it is, So, but I think that's probably a good spot to kind of wrap it up and go grab a steak. Yeah. Well, I do. I will say I appreciate you coming out. When's the last time we saw each other? Was it Panorama? Or SEMA?
I think I came here.
No, you came here, right? Beginning of the year?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a minute though. It's nice to see you again. I'm really happy to sit down again. I think last time we sat down was in the old studio. Now I sat down in the new studio. But I appreciate you always reaching out and always seeing if we need something. It is nice to know that I always have someone there, especially if anything ever goes wrong too. It's I always know I can make a phone call, bring you into the loop, and it always takes taken care of. I really do appreciate it. So
we definitely appreciate you and your family, and we like to know that we're doing our best, just like you're doing your best out there to take care of people. We'd like to take care of you and your business and your family as well.
Yeah, no, it's the relationship that we have now with you and then with Solar Gard in general. I try not to, even when I'm talking to people over the phone or even in the class too. I'm not trying to push a brand on anyone. I just let them know the experiences we've had And I just let them know the importance of being partnered with a company that actually values you and values what you're doing and wants to help you and doesn't just look at you as another ticket. That is extremely important. It's allowed us to get to the point where we're at now, and it's still continuing to allow us to grow, is the relationships that we've fostered over technically a decade and a half now. And it's really nice to know that we have a manufacturer that doesn't just look at us as just a customer, looks at us as a partner, and that wants to grow us because it makes sense. You grow us, we buy more product. That helps the company, helps Solar Gard. And that's the biggest thing. And I see it across the board and all the different reps, knowing that I can reach out to anybody at any time with any question. And there is no animosity. Everyone is a team player. I mean, from me, I can reach out. I know I can reach out to Rob. I know I can even reach out to Steve, which I try not to do literally ever, because I know that man has way more headaches than I ever care to deal with myself when it comes to me. I run a company with 18 people, and I'm already like, holy hell. To be where he sits, no thank you. No thank you. If anything, I'll send him a meme every once in a while talking shit about the Bengals. And that's my fun. I'll send him a video. Wait until this year. I'm like, yeah, we'll see you this year. But that's always fun. But hey guys, we appreciate you following around. Until next time, have a good one.